Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mirror List Monday here on Eat, Sleep, List. My name is Matt Johnson, your host, and today, with peak Comic-Con season finally here, we're going to discuss some of the athletes, celebrities, artists, whomever, that we would definitely, most certainly pay to meet at Comic-Con. That's right, we are making the Comic-Con meet and greet list. Let's get to work. It is often said that you should never meet your heroes. And as somebody who has met several heroes in their lifetime and been disappointed more often than not, I can certainly agree to that statement. But Comic-Con is a different animal. All right, Comic-Con is a professional meet and greet opportunity setting. It's the entertainer, whoever it may be, artist, athlete, they're there for a job. They know what they're doing. They're getting compensated fairly well to be there and sign autographs and interact with people. They know their duty. And as a fan, you are coming in. There's a set of ground rules. All right, you're paying for an autograph. You're paying for a picture. You're paying for both. Combined, whatever it may be, there's a set of ground rules, and it's just a much better setting for the meet and greet scenario. Meeting a celebrity in public, more often than not, it's a risky thing. A lot of them don't want to be bothered. As somebody who found that out the hard way, that people just don't care. All right, some people just don't care, and I understand and respect it. I couldn't imagine being a famous person, and everywhere you go, you're hounded constantly. All right, you're at a mall, you're at a restaurant, you're shopping, you're grocery shopping, whatever it may be. Cameras are on you. People are looking at you. People are hounding you, asking for autographs, want to say hello. There's a sense of peace that you want, being away from the limelight, at least from what I sense from a lot of people, all right? You see clips all the time of celebrities just yelling at photographers, reporters, TMZ, to basically back up, give them some space, and it's completely understandable. It is completely understandable because sometimes you just want peace and quiet, all right? Your life's noisy as it is. It is the unfortunate price of fame. Not that I will probably ever know that, but it is what it is. So as I've grown older, I try to keep my interactions with celebrities. If it's a famous person, if out and about, I try to give them their space. Just say hello, how you doing, and then move on with my day, and let them be on theirs. And I can assure you, of talking with some over the years, especially being in wrestling locker rooms and whatnot, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. You may not be remembered, for the casual kind of hello, how are you, but you will not be remembered in a bad way, which is more often than not what happens when people hound celebrities in their private time. I've met heroes before, as I kind of already stated. I remember the first hero I was ever disappointed in, and he was not a celebrity by any means, but he was kind of a local stud. He was a wrestler that wrestled probably about 20 to 25 minutes away from where I lived. I went to school in Niagara Falls. This gentleman went to school in another district. I don't want to specify or whatnot, but I thought it was amazing that this individual who graduated in about 2001 had this awesome career wrestling in college, and he was doing he was an Olympic alternate and so much more. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. This is stuff I can aspire to be. This is someone who I can aspire to be. And then I met this individual in a camp in between my junior and senior year, and he ended up being the biggest pile of garbage I've ever met in my life. I was heartbroken when I met this guy because I had to wrestle him, and he was not a good teacher. He just beat the crap out of me, roughed me up, almost dropped me on my head, and I was like, well, screw this guy. And it's ironic. Several months later, I was coaching at the same school that I was coaching youth level wrestling at the school where he graduated from. And I went to go say hi to him, and he told me to piss off. Again, I go, okay, this is great. And then another coach that I really liked tried to introduce me to him, and I just wasn't having it. Even as a high school kid, as a senior, it was too much for me. This guy clearly was not interested. He was not a good person, and it broke my heart. It did. There's been other times. There's actually been other times. You know what? Actually, that might not be the first. That's probably the first, actual hero. But there was a meet and greet I had with a certain individual when I was in the, is it 10th or 11th grade? A pro wrestler. Maybe you heard of him. His name is Chris Benoit. He's kind of infamous these days. But, and I don't even know if this whole incident was his fault. But I remember being really excited. WWE was coming to town, and he was doing a meet and greet at the Boulevard Mall. And I was in the middle of wrestling season. I wanted to leave early. I really wanted to meet this guy because I don't get to meet famous people often. So it was a free opportunity to go, shake hands, talk with him, and get a picture taken. And so I leave wrestling practice early. I had to lie. I'm like, I can't tell my wrestling coach that, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to meet somebody famous. It's just a bad look, especially, was I a captain at that point? I don't know if I was a captain yet, but I was a varsity level wrestler. Regardless, it was a bad look. So we go there. And we're standing in line. He's meeting everybody, shaking hands, talking with them, taking pictures. And some woman right in front of us is taking her sweet time, just extra long, asking for stuff. And as soon as she's done, they start moving the line. All right, I'm literally the next person in line, and they start moving the line right along. And I was so embarrassed. That, and Benoit, he didn't even, he briefly made eye contact with me. And I didn't even get to shake his hand or anything. They were just, all right, move it along, just trying to get people, get the line moving so they can leave, and Chris can kind of go live his life or do whatever the heck. And it was a long car ride home. It was painful, so to speak. And it broke my heart. All right, so that's at this point now. All right, so there's Chris Benoit, and there's this former high school wrestler who I absolutely adored, who just did not have the time of day, and it stung. And it's unfortunate. It really truly is, but it's a lesson that maybe not everybody's great. All right, so sometimes you have to not be a great person to kind of get to the level that they're at too, which is weird and unfortunate, especially when legions of people are when, at least for the most part, legions of people are inspired by you. But it was hard. But I look at those two negatives. I've had some great positive ones as well. I remember the first wrestler I ever met in a good light, or a little bit more positive light, was George the Animal Steel. The old Summit Park Mall by my house. He was doing a meet and greet at the Omega Sports, and I was one of the few people who showed up, and he stayed and talked with me and my family for 10, 15 minutes. Took a great picture. We talked wrestling because he was a wrestling coach or teacher at Michigan State, and we had a really cool, interaction, in that regard. There's been several others. Steve Cardenas. I met him. I paid to meet him at a rock con in Rochester, New York. One of the first years I started podcasting. Met him. I paid to meet him, and this is Steve Cardenas was Rocky from Power Rangers. Autographed, took a picture with me. It was really cool, and because I did that, he ended up coming over to our table and doing an interview with some of our Power Rangers guys. They had a Power Rangers podcast at the time, so that's always cool. Listen, there's so many good ones. There are so many good ones. I'm super selective about who I meet. I'm fiscally, now that I'm aware And especially, too, being around wrestling. I don't know if I've brought that point up yet, but being around wrestling and meeting so many people who are just utter disappointments. Like, oh, God, Dusty Rhodes was a disappointment to meet. IRS was a disappointment. Like, there was a lot of big-name talents who Shawn Michaels, like a lot of guys who I was really excited to meet and maybe pick their brain a little bit when I'm doing extra work, could not be bothered. And that was really disappointing. But, like, I know the game. Like, I know the game. So if I'm going to pay to meet somebody, I'm going to be a little bit more selective when I do it. And that's what I'm doing with this list. This list today is me disguising celebrities that that matter to me on some sort of level. There's some kind of connection to them, some kind of inspiration drawn from them that would make me want to pay for them. And that's really the mirror list. Who are these people that mean so much to me, that I've never met before, that I'm willing to pay for? All right, that's what this is. Yes, the guys is Comic-Con meet and greet, but the actual list, the reflective portion of this list is celebrities, famous people who I find worthy of my hard-earned dollars and would absolutely love to meet and say hello to. All right, so lessons from this list. I would certainly say that there's inspiration to be found in every celebrity, all right? Everybody, every athlete, artist, actor, actress, TV, whatever it may be, there is something to take inspiration from. I've talked about how I treat everybody that I come across as a lesson. There's good and bad to be taken from each and every single one of them. So keep that in mind when interacting with celebrities as well, because they are human beings. All right? We all get emotional. They are. I can't believe I'm defending celebrities here, but I need to, I want to put it into perspective. Even though they may inspire us, their life is it's overwhelming. Again, the price of fame is lack of peace, and these people, their lives are constantly under microscopes. If they breathe the wrong way, there's a bunch of news articles written about them. So if you are meeting these people, especially if you are not paying to meet these people, understand that they are human beings. Understand that they have real life problems. Yes, they have more money than we could probably ever dream of, but money does not necessarily mask any kind of mental things going on in people's heads. People are stressed out. People, again, a lot of people just seek peace. I'm trying to. I can't remember the entertainer, but I remember years ago when I was watching VH1 music videos, and not the pop-up videos that I was referring to in last Friday's TV channel list, but he mentioned he was crying during an interview that's saying, "Hey, I just wanted to make music," and he was referring just basically to all the pressures and whatnot of being a famous musician, a famous celebrity, and obviously maybe not that famous because I can't remember his damn name, but it always stands out to me that moment that some people just have passion for it, and they get everything just happens so fast, everything gets so big that eventually they're kind of their lives are just out of control. But just remember that these people are all human. They're all very, very flawed. You have every right to be mad if a celebrity treats you like crap after you paid to meet them. Every single right. But if you're out there in public, you bump into one, they're out with their family, they're out doing this or that, just keep in mind, just understand that they owe you absolutely nothing in their personal free time. They absolutely don't. I don't like to put a lot of celebrities either on pedestals. Like it's hard to. And despite me having like 10 that I'm willingly would pay for, and actually for the most part, it was a very difficult list to put together because that's how just desensitized to celebrities and famous people I am. But it's important not to put these people on pedestals, because the second you do, they do something that disappoints you, it's going to break your soul. I can't tell you how many times I've popped up. I'm scrolling through social media, and a celebrity says something that maybe doesn't align with somebody's political beliefs or some other type of belief, and it breaks people's heart. And I think it's a silly reason to not like a celebrity anymore. I really do, unless it's something really truly horrible to say, to think. There's some people who have certainly crossed lines over the years, but it's to not put them at pedestals. Take their lessons, take the good with the bad, and still you can still just draw inspiration from these people without glorifying them, without getting your hopes too high for them to be everything you expect them to be. I think that's the best way to not be disappointed when the time comes to finally meet them. All right, everybody. As I always state, please do not hesitate to comment below your selections for any of these lists that we do, and especially considering for today, the celebrities that you would pay to meet. All right, it could be whoever. All right, you can list 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, if you so choose. And whomever it may be, it could be a movie star, it could be a television star, a radio host, a athlete, a politician, a author, journalist, a chef, any person that you would pay to meet. That is the purpose of this. Even if they don't do Comic-Cons, okay? That is the point of this video, is to really test and think. I always say, take your time when you make these lists. Who are the 10 people that you would find meaning in having a conversation with, in meeting, and this that. I know for me, as I've already stated, how relatively frugal I can be. I'm a very selective. I know the celebrity, famous person game, that it's going to take the right kind of people for me to pay money to meet them. I think I said that right. Regardless, let's get to it. These are the top 10 famous people that I would pay to meet. All right. I do not believe this man will ever come to the United States of America. I don't think so. I don't even know if he speaks English. But he is the composer of my childhood, and we're going to talk a lot about him for Friday's episode. But his name is Nobuo Uematsu, and he is a composer from Japan. And basically, why I adore this man so much is that he compiled the soundtracks for one of my favorite video game franchises in Final Fantasy. And he just so many good hits, game after game after game after game, just elite level music. Literally some of the soundtracks to my childhood were created by this man, and the beautiful music that he created. Just last November, I went to a Final Fantasy VII concert, and was he there? No, but he had a composer directing the orchestra and playing the music that he created, and it was beautiful. All right, I adore this man. I adore his work over the years, and I would love to be able to shake his hand and say hello, because of how much impact he's had on my childhood, and even to this day, I still listen to his music. Again, I'm going to talk plenty about him on Friday, but yeah, shout out to Nobuo Uematsu for just your music. It's beautiful, and if you don't know anything about him, please go seek him out. You can go look up some of his Final Fantasy albums. There's some beautiful music. I know if you've never played the games, it might be hard to really appreciate what he's done, but if you have, or if you have an open mind, I think you will love and appreciate some of his music. So that's my number 10. Number 9. I only have a few football players on here. I have met a few in passing, But there's three that I really, really look up to. And this one, I don't think a lot of people, if you know me on a personal level, would know about. But the guy's name is Josh McCown. He was a quarterback, a journeyman quarterback for many, many years, played on a bunch of different teams, 8 or 9 teams, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a give or take 1 or 2. But coming into football, like really, really coming into football in 2014, 2015, you hear about, you see Josh McCown's playing, and every time you take a look at him, he's hurt. And it was just this unfortunate thing, and it became a joke. There was a speech that he made that made me absolutely idolize this man and realize, one, that athletes getting hurt is not funny. All right, not in the slightest regard. It's not funny at all. But I loved the way that this man put into words what playing hurt meant to him. I believe it was 2015 or 2016. And they had just lost to the Baltimore. He was with the Cleveland Browns at the time, and he had just lost to the Baltimore Ravens. I think it was like 25-20. And he got hurt again, unfortunately. I believe it was a shoulder injury. And early on in the game, and he decided to keep on playing. And at the podium after the game, a reporter questioned him about why he played, why he continued to play through his injury. And he was talking about he wanted to show his boys toughness. He has two kids. Well, he has 2 kids who played football, and he wanted to show them toughness and what it was like, just not cower out. And he also brought up how he has a dad and older brother who work blue-collar jobs, and they go to work and they don't feel good all the time. And he's still that's why he went out there. That's why he wanted to keep playing through his injury. And this spoke volumes to me. As somebody who feels like there's a big disconnect between famous people and normal people, Josh McCown hit all of the right notes. And I felt like he was talking like this. I'm like, this guy understands me. He's not this sheltered, protected individual. He knows what it's like, or at least knows people that are like me. And to me, that was all I needed to hear. All right, this simple quote. I don't care how many times this guy throws an interception or falls short of winning a football game. Josh McCown forever in my mind is just he's that dude for that comment, and I know that he believes in that. I know it's not just something to say for a cutesy quote. No, he actually meant it. You hear in the NBA all the time, about load management, right? You hear about guys taking stretches of games off to kind of decompress, to not get hurt, yada, yada, yada. I've seen videos of a dad calling out LeBron James. He bought tickets for his kid to come watch him play for the Lakers or Cavs or wherever it was, and this kid did not get to see him play because of load management. And yes, there's a bit of an entitlement with that statement and whatnot, but I admire a guy like Josh McCown for doing that. He would take time off after that, but the fact that he finished the game, in a game where the smallest injuries will have a guy sitting on the bench for the rest of the day, and he wanted to be a leader. All right, he's a vet who's bounced around many different teams over his career, and you just wanted to see him find success. But he was a vet, wanted to kind of pave the way through his actions, not by his words, and it was really, really inspiring to see. So for forever, Josh McCown will be etched as a celebrity I would drop hundreds of dollars to meet, because that's how much his statement meant to me. Number eight, I'm going to put Sylvester Stallone here. And I don't believe he does Comic-Cons. If he does, great. I'd probably have to take out a mortgage or some kind of other additional loan to meet him. But Sylvester Stallone, I love his legitimate rags to riches story. All right, I love hearing about how he the script for Rocky was a desperation attempt at Hollywood fame, and he finally did it. And when they just wanted to buy his script outright and then just cast him to the side, he said, "No, I'm not doing that." And he held on to it. All right, he held on to his script and ended up spawning 5 movies and literally launching his career into stardom. All right, Sylvester Stallone has been in so many great movies. You know, the Rambo series, amongst many others. There's been so many action films that he's been in, and he's doing some really good drama television streaming service shows now too. I love that. I love that even when he put this script together and they were willing to give him, I think it was like $1 million, which back in the 70s was a lot of money. And I could be mistaken on the number, so forgive me if I am. But even still, when they just wanted to, hey, here's the money, go away and do whatever with it, he still held on to it. He didn't just give in, right? He put all that time, effort, and energy into this script for the first Rocky film and didn't want to sell out. He held on to that thing, and it was probably one of on top of making that Rocky script, one of the smartest things that he had ever done. And it's really, really admirable. He talks about it all the time. There's plenty of YouTube clips on there. All the movies that he did, inspiring. All right, they were a big part of my wrestling career, high school wrestling career, where I got to, watching those movies and drawing inspiration from those films, and to being the best version of myself, and just keep trying, keep fighting onwards. He's a gem. He's an absolute gem, and I'm so glad that I have those movies to look at whenever I'm feeling low, whenever I'm feeling kind of down on my luck, to kind of pull from and inspire me. So Sylvester Stallone, that is my number 8. Number 7. I think I've put up this picture before. I'm gonna pop it up again over here. It's Ralph Macchio. All right, I would love to meet Ralph Macchio on the simple fact that he knew my great uncle Pat, who I've gloated about many, many times over. All right, on this show, and probably way too much to other people. It's usually the first. When I'm meeting anybody who likes cool 80s movies like The Karate Kid and Ninja Turtles and some other great hits, I'm always like, hey, yeah, that's my great uncle. I've said it a lot, much to my detriment at times. But I want to go and meet him and show him the picture. And I think he has the picture. I think he's actually posted that picture. But I would love to be like, hey, this is you with my great uncle. And I would just love to have that conversation and see that reaction. I think that would be the coolest thing for me. I don't know if he does much comic, and I don't think he's gonna come out to any out here. I would be really surprised if he did, but yeah, that's somebody who it's a simple thing, but there's a kind of a connection. And even though I only met my great uncle a handful of times, less than a handful of times even, it'd be kind of a cool way to learn a little bit maybe about him or hear a personal story that I would have never known if I didn't meet, Ralph Macchio. So that's one. That's one that I would definitely like. I think that's a family one that we would all certainly appreciate. I know my brother, my dad, my uncle, we all think very highly of Uncle Pat. Great Uncle Pat, and we're always, every now and then, we go on a little YouTube run and just seeking them out. So yes, Ralph Macchio comes in at number 7 as far as somebody who I'd pay to meet. Number 6, this guy, I would be thoroughly shocked if he ever did a Comic-Con. He's kind of living the good life right now. But it's Andrew Luck. All right, former Indianapolis Colts quarterback. This is my second football player that I'm going to mention here. Andrew Luck was my favorite Colts quarterback of all time. And I know that may sound shocking because Peyton Manning was the one who got me hooked onto the Colts. But I always enjoyed watching Andrew Luck play more. All right. He was reckless in some of the best and worst possible ways. Um, Unpredictable. He had insane arm talent. He was mobile. He could take nothing and turn it into something. Like one of my favorite plays of all time is against the Chiefs, and there was like a fumble. They were on like the 1 or 2 yard line. There was a fumble. He picked it up and dove into the end zone for a touchdown, and I love that about him. I also like, aside from play, as much as it pains me as a Colts fan that he left the team and did it in such a brief time, that like such a short time before the season started, that it left the Colts in a void that they are into this, still into this day. I find a lot of inspiration in the fact that despite all of the hype, despite first overall pick, generational quarterback, you are one of 32 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League, which is the dreams of thousands upon thousands of kids, all across the country. That he realized that enough was enough, and he looked at the world and announced his retirement at the age of 30. And the only thing I'm sad about is that he didn't get to do it himself. Adam Schefter pre-did it because the information leaked. But I mean, the character. I've always said, so one of my character flaws is that I say yes to people. I say yes to everybody just to get them off of my back. And Andrew Luck, he's a smart dude. He went to Stanford. He has like a degree in, I think he's an architect. Now he's the GM, I believe, at Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. He had the smarts. He had the intestinal fortitude to look at the Colts organization, to look at the National Football League, to look at Colts fans, and everybody else in the world who wondered why, how could you do this, and say, hey, I legitimately cannot do this anymore. And yeah, and despite the boos from Colts fans in the venue that day, and the many angry tweets and whatnot, he still did it. He stuck to his laurels, and he decided, I'm not coming back. He stuck to his guns and said, hey, I'm done. I'm moving on with my life. And he's all the better for it. He's probably all the better for it. And good on him. Good on him. Good on any athlete who in the peak of their career can say, I want to have a higher quality of life someday. Right? I want to have a quality of life after I retire. I'm always injured. I got to just walk away from this. While I still can, while I can still do it on my own merit. And I love and adore Andrew Luck forever for his bravery for that. And, of course, for being a fantastic quarterback. And I was very honored that he got to be on our team. So, number 6, Andrew Luck. Number 5, she tops my actual childhood crush list, celebrity crush list at that. It's Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman. I have, of course, insanely attractive, but I'm not doing this to kind of be I'm not saying this to be like a creep or a pervert. I generally admire her work, and it's really cool because I've also, I felt like we've grown up together, if that makes sense. She's been in so many great films, and my first interaction with her, knowing of her, was the prequel Star Wars trilogy, a trilogy that I hold in very, very high regard. All right? Absolutely love and adore the Star Wars movies. I can't say that enough. She was there, front and center, growing into her own. And that's really when her fame shot up. And obviously she had done other films like Leon the Professional, amongst many others, but Star Wars shot her up into fame and success. And then, she had done some other great films, V for Vendetta, and there's a couple other ones, and then she pops up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is, growing right along with me. She's Jane Foster, sorry. Jane Foster in Thor. And that's another cool thing. So again, just feel like I'm growing up right alongside with her, even though she's years. I think she's like 9 or 10 years older than me, even though I probably look way older than her. Natalie Portman, I would love to meet, and because she's been one of the best. I mean, there's been so many great female celebrities that I've enjoyed their work, but nobody speaks more to my life in consuming entertainment than Natalie Portman. So yeah, Natalie Portman comes in at number 5, and that's that. Number 4 is Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt, and I don't understand the Chris Pratt hate. I don't know if it's because of his religion. I don't know if it's because his political views. I have seen this man be nothing but a gentleman. Like, in the years that I've known him. I mean, I first came across him in Guardians of the Galaxy, the very first movie, and then I went back and watched him in Parks and Rec. And there's so many other reasons to love him. His humor is just insanely good. He wrestled in high school, which is a big plus for myself when it comes to connecting with any individual. I think he's I don't know if he's a Colts fan, but he played a Colts fan in that one. And he was talking so highly of Andrew Luck, which is really cool. I love that episode with Reggie Wayne, Andrew Luck, and rest his soul, Jim Irsay. I love that clip. I watch it over and over again. But I don't know, just his fitness story, being the fat guy and then trimming down, like and holding it off is amazing. Like, this work ethic is unbelievable, and I've enjoyed watching him over the years. I don't know. I feel like people like to just twist words around into the most negative thing. Like, if there's somebody that, again, people always look to be offended, right? People always seek out to be offended by other people. That's usually how it goes. Being offended is a choice. And I feel like people have chosen to be offended by Chris Pratt more than he deserves. And I think he's kind of just doesn't care anymore. But anything he's in is must-see television, must-see movie for me. I've enjoyed a lot of his work. I thought he was great as Owen Grady in the Jurassic World trilogy, and in Magnificent Seven he was in. I just watched that Electric State film. It was kind of goofy and fun, and I'm really hoping that he does more Star-Lord. I'm really hoping for that going forward. So Chris Pratt, would absolutely love to meet him, talk wrestling and amateur wrestling, and talk about his weight loss journey. It's inspiring. It really is. And in my estimation, I find him to be a pretty good moral stand-up dude. So that's my number 4, Chris Pratt. Number 3. My number 3 is Hayden Christensen, my other Star Wars entry here. I have loved Hayden for a long time, and it hurt my soul. Like, I went to bat for Hayden Christensen back when the prequel trilogy came out, when Attack of the Clones was there, and when Revenge of the Sith was coming out. I went to bat for him. I thought he played Anakin Skywalker excellently, and he did the best with the dialogue that he was given by George Lucas. George Lucas has never been a really big dialogue guy, but Hayden did a really good job. And like, I hate that the mob, like the critics and all this stuff, like made him feel so bad that he kind of disappeared from acting. I'm sure he did a little bit here and there, but after Star Wars, I think he did maybe the movie Jumper, and that was that. I thought he played Anakin excellently. Again, I can't speak enough on it. I love the character. I love Anakin so much more because of the way that Hayden portrayed him. He did it perfectly, and there will come a time where I can explain why I have such a special affinity for the Anakin Skywalker character and all its flaws. But like, I'm seeing him now. He's coming back into now. He's being hailed as he should have always been. There was this Star Wars Celebration video from, I don't know, within the last 5 to 6 years where he's like tearing up because he didn't realize that so many people actually adored him as Anakin Skywalker because the internet wasn't around quite like the way it is today. All right, he is literally so beloved, and I'm glad that he's there to soak it all in now. Like, I'm getting to witness him soak in all of the love. Like, it's awesome, and I really, really want to meet him. He has given the Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker character so much life that I would love to just shake his hand and say, hey, I always had your back. I had your back before it was cool to have your back. And yeah, he's very talented dude. I see him all the time. He was just in like a Monopoly or something, like a phone game ad recently. There's some kind of like Star Wars cross promotion thing. And of course, I'm excited to see him back in all the projects, Ahsoka, the Obi-Wan show, and so much more. So Hayden Christensen at number 3. Number two, I'm actually wearing him on my shirt. All right. His name is Philip Rivers, and I've talked heavily about Philip Rivers. And while he is my favorite athlete of all time, he comes in and you'll hear why my number 1 is where he's at. But I always liked Philip's attitude. I came into the league. He was with the Chargers. He's a cool at Rivers. What a cool ass name. And he's playing in the coolest jerseys in the NFL at the time. And he's just this gunslinger guy. And he's I always call him the PG potty mouth because he could trash talk, but he doesn't swear. And that takes like strong willpower, especially in the National Football League where you hear F-bombs dropped all the time. Philip was just a character. And like I adore him for that. And I can't tell you like how happy I was when the Colts signed him in 2020. I think I've mentioned it before, but like I was like that was a rough year. But one of my best years. But like that's the last time I was excited to be a Colts fan. And the dude's just cool. He just does what he does. He stays out of the limelight. He's not on social media, which is admirable as all heck. See, I said heck, not hell. But he's a family dude. He's a family guy. You never really, aside from his like his passionate like outbursts and stuff, you never hear anything really truly bad about Philip Rivers, and that's I think another admirable thing about him. I'm not a religious guy myself, but I respect his passion for faith. And I legit made that hat, that Nuke Choppy hat, because he preached it and he acted like it. It didn't matter, how bad of a game he'd played. He always bounced back. All right, if he threw a bunch of picks in a game, he's going to bounce back and throw a bunch more touchdowns to make up for it. And that's just how he was. And great, great dude. I can listen to him mic'd up all the time. But I have so much Philip Rivers merchandise that it's a no-brainer that I would love to meet. I would travel to meet him. That's how much I love and appreciate Philip Rivers and just his existence. So that's my number 2. My number one. I was actually really sad because last year I wanted to go to the Nickel City Comic-Con and he was supposed to go and then he canceled. But Kurt Angle is my number 1. All right, Kurt Angle's the number 1 person I want to meet, would pay to meet. And Kurt Angle is so important to, like, my life story, in a sense. I started wrestling in middle school, actually, because I watched Kurt Angle on TV. He was the Olympic gold medalist. He did all the amateur wrestling stuff. He was a technical guy. And that sport, doing wrestling in middle school and high school, saved my life in a sense. All right. I was quite portly and didn't have a lot of direction back then. I was just kind of existing. I wasn't living. I was just kind of existing. I had no purpose. I'd go to school, be miserable, come home, play video games, do whatever, hide in my room, and hang out with, before that, my bad group of friends. Wrestling gave me purpose, and I would have never, ever started it if it wasn't for Kurt Angle. All right? And his story is not like this linear, like, good guy thing. Like, he did all the right things leading up to the Olympics, and he worked hard. He worked his tail off. But then he got in wrestling, and he got mixed up in all sorts of pain medicine, and it became this unhealthy addiction. He checking into rehab multiple times over. And he's come out a better man for that. Like, even like it's a reminder, his life story is a reminder that even the best of us can fall sometimes, but if we can pick ourselves up again, it is, it's inspirational, right? It's great that you're really strong. Even if you fall, you're strong if you can pick yourself back up again. I've fallen. I've failed so many times. We've talked about this in some of our Mirrorless Monday episodes. And I try my hardest to pick myself up again. And Kurt has done this repeatedly with a magnifying glass on his life, as all of these celebrities typically have. All right, a magnifying glass. Everything that they do is tracked, traced, written about, documented. And Kurt has been the center of attention for a lot of bad things, but a lot of great things as well. And I love his story. I'm so glad that he's finding, success and happiness. In fact, my good friend Andrew, for my birthday a couple of weeks ago, he paid for a cameo, and it for me from Kurt Angle, and it was the greatest thing. At the end, I guess he improv telling me that I suck, and it was just so fun. It was so fun for me. I am eternally grateful for that, and I would love to say that to Kurt's face, but just him living, like his work ethic and all of that, how wonderful it has been for myself, and I'm sure many, many other people out there. So there it is, everybody. My top 10 celebrities that I would pay to meet, top 10 famous people that I'd pay to meet, however we want to word this. But there it is. I hope you all get to meet somebody new this year. All right, go meet somebody that you've been wanting to check off your bucket list at a Comic-Con this year. Seriously, if you've never been, go to it. They're a lot of fun. Maybe don't start off with the big one right out of the gate. New York City, San Diego, those can be kind of overwhelming. Find a smaller local one like Nickel City Con. It's relatively big. It's kind of busy, but it's like just enough. It is just the right pace, and that's right up my alley. Go meet some celebrities. Go find some cool stuff to buy. Seriously, it is well worth your time. Don't be afraid. Don't be too proud. Check your pride at the door as well before you go in there. Like before you get, nobody's too cool to go to a Comic-Con. Seriously, go enjoy it. We'll be back on Friday. We got video game soundtracks. That's right. It's been like 4 months since we've talked. 3 or 4 months since we've talked video games. So we're going to do it, and we're going to talk video game soundtracks on Friday. We'll see you then. Till next time, do you even list?